Hello agents and welcome back to another Division video. Today I wanted to go over a pretty important topic, and that topic is, are all YouTube build videos for the Division trash? The answer is no, they're not all trash, but there are certainly some that are very situational. I get a lot of comments in some of my videos telling me this is better, and this is better, and I think there's a misconception around all of this that some stuff is better than other stuff, and it is, but it certainly is situational. A good example of this, in a very recent video, somebody said to me, this build is trash, he should be using the Hollow Man. So the build in question was an AR build that I did. I'm not going to show that build here, but this is my LMG build, and this is a great example. So this build is pretty min-maxed, as you can see. Some stuff is completely god rolled. It's all pretty nice. I've pretty much struggled to find anything better to replace some of these pieces. I've got everything exactly where I want it. When I look at the stats, I've got a maxed out watch. I'm within 2% of cap of crit hit chance. I'm at 173% crit hit damage. I'm at 115% headshot damage. Really nice. I'll put a link in the description below if you do want to have a look at that. But this build, I put it on YouTube and I think this is pretty perfect. This is great. And this is good. If I went to go and run a heroic mission, I can take this build. I can swap to my M1A if I really want to, because these are still god tier and I have no problems whatsoever. But why would I use the Hollow Man mask? I wouldn't. Not in just going running a heroic. But in certain situations in the raid, where certain enemies like Razorback for instance take direct health damage, I could perhaps switch to the Hollow Man for that fight. If I was going to do maybe Black Tusk missions, where there's dogs and chungas and they're all direct health damage, or legendaries for instance, it would probably be best in slot for that content. But for my day-to-day normal content, it's not. And I've got a really good one, you know, it's there it is. It's certainly no slouch when it comes to a Hollow Man, but it's not best in slot for the content I do on a day-to-day basis. It's best in slot for certain content in the game. And I think this is a misconception across all of these YouTube builds, when things aren't necessarily explained as they need to be. Your best all-round build would just be sticking a Providence mask there. But for certain content, if I put the Hollow Man mask in there, yeah, absolutely great. Same comes with the Coyotes mask as well. I've got a god tier one of these. If I put that on, let's check my stats out. Very good. I dropped some crit damage, as you would expect. But if I'm going to be doing content where, let's just have a look here. I know I'm going to be hitting enemies within 0 to 15 meters. I'm going to actually create more damage. Plus, I'm actually going to give that buff to the rest of my team. These things are great when run with at least 2 of them in a team. Great for the raid content. And I've not even got an offensive mod in there right now. So Coyotes mask again. Not necessarily best in slot, but very situational for when you're running as a team, to kind of have that team synergy, to bring the most from all of your team and not just an individual person's build. But then I could always run it by myself as well, depending on what kind of content I was running. Something else that you could go for as well, so just on the flip side of that, we'll mention it. If I go back to my regular mask that I use, if somebody else in my team was running that, I could switch to a Group O holster. I could drop some crit chance. I could gain a whole bunch of crit damage. But knowing that 2 people in my team, perhaps, or even 1 person, depending on the content we're running, I get the 10% critical hit chance back here. And I get a further 10% critical hit damage as well. But then if 2 people are running it, I get this 25% critical hit damage as well, which then makes my damage and chance absolutely sky high. So although the Group O isn't best in slot for me when I'm running by myself, if I'm in a raid team or I'm in a regular team with 2 people running the mask and we're running content where both of these scenarios are going to be hit, then we have a new best in slot scenario. So I don't necessarily mention all of these scenarios in my build videos. I think the build videos would become way too long at this point, which is why I thought it was important to put this video out, because you get a sense sometimes as a content creator, people are like, well, actually, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about. Why is he not using the Hollow Man? Why is he not using the Coyote's mask? So I thought I'd do a quick video now and explain the main reasons why. Some other misconceptions that you get are with weapons. When it comes to the third attribute in a weapon, it's always better to be going damage to armor, damage to health, or damage to target out of cover. You can always maintain all the other stats from somewhere else. Crit chance, crit damage, you can get plenty of it in gear and other mods. You don't need to waste what is an extremely valuable attribute of damage to armor. It's multiplicative damage. It's the best kind of damage you can get. You don't have to do anything for it. So if you put in headshot damage there, perhaps you have to hit a head. With damage to armor, you don't have to hit a head. Hit the head to be able to achieve that damage tier. So really, really, really good. If you've got an M1A, damage to targets out of cover, certainly, definitely the best in slot you can get here. It's multiplicative damage. It does way more than any other kind of damage, which is why these two win out on almost every build as well. Because damage to armor at 8% there in yellow, damage to target out of cover in 8% there yellow. Again, multiplicative damage, and that's why these are always best in slot. The Hollow Man is a little bit different. We will go back over that. It's health damage. So Razorback, like I mentioned before, your big heavies, your chungers, direct damage to health. Dogs, damage to health. So if you're doing Black Tusk content, maybe one person running with the Hollow Man is not a bad idea, because they will output more damage on that build. Certainly something to consider, guys. Like, obviously ARs now have had a buff. You can see here, I think they can get 22% health damage as a maximum roll. That's a lot of health damage. So running an Eagle Bearer as a secondary weapon is now not a bad idea for when you come across enemies or chungers and you need something for health damage. You've got that as your secondary weapon. And just to show you an example, so I could put this one on here. I would, oh, that's the wrong weapon. There we go. We'll mod it up. We'll put our extra 50 rounds large pouch in from our specialisation. It now has 150 bullets. If I fire that at Razorback during the weak point phase, I am never going to need to reload, because steady-handed is going to kick in and I'm going to do way more damage than a Bullet King. So therefore getting them phases shorter and not having to repeat certain openings of that part of the raid. So really, really good. Definitely worth looking at. So like I said again though, it's situational. I would never do an LMG build video and put this as best in slot, because the MG5 generally is miles better. With fast hands, of course. So another thing to look out for instance, again, we'll use the raid as an example. So I have my Buddy and Lucy build right here. I actually use the M1A for this with a 30% headshot scope on, because we kill Buddy and Lucy really, really quickly. I will show you a clip of that now. Ooh. If you liked what you see, guys, do come and check me out over on Twitch, where I use all of the builds that I put up on YouTube, so you can see that they are viable. And if you need raid help as well, come and let us know, or join the Discord in the description below. But the reason I showed you that clip was because I didn't go all out damage on my build. I actually sacrificed a little bit to run Firewall, so that I could run the shield that comes with Firewall. And essentially that gives people who stand behind me a damage bonus, a multiplicative damage bonus as well. So they output more damage. I take a little bit of hit from my damage. I'm dropping 15% from not having the sniper specialization on, so my headshot damage, I don't have the 45% scope, but my team do more damage. So again, this wouldn't necessarily be best in slot, but when it comes to a team synergy, this would be the kind of thing that you would want to look at and what you would want to run. Same with opportunistic on a backpack. Now, it's actually really, really good, but obviously, again, not best in slot over something like vigilance for when you're on your own. So the whole bunch of other scenarios you need to take into account when looking beyond the videos that you see on YouTube, which sometimes are very, very situational. One more thing to mention, and this isn't really as important as it's not a huge buff, but it certainly is a decent one for if you're running raid content, perhaps if there's more than 4 of you, but maybe worth looking at if you're struggling at some heroic or legendary content. If you look at these specialization buffs, you'll see they have special ones. So for instance, the tactical link in Demolitionist. Group members gain 5% damage to targets out of cover. Again, it's multiplicative damage. It's the best damage you can get in the game. So maybe it is worth somebody running Demolitionist. If you look at, for instance, Sharpshooter, we can take a look at that one. All group members that are closer to enemies than you get 10% headshot damage. So it's a nice buff. Really, really nice buff. And then we've got Survivalist. Group members get 10% bonus damage to targets with status effects. So if you've got any status effect builds in, all of a sudden your group members are all doing 10% more multiplicative damage. So when you're watching these videos on YouTube, guys, do take into account that actually they may be situational. They may be just for people running solo. They might not be intended for group play. They might definitely not be intended for raid group play. So it's just something to think about. I thought I would put this video out there because I do get a lot of comments below telling me, no, you should have run this and no, you should have run that. And therefore, that's where this video has spawned from. Thanks for watching, guys. Do come and check me out over on Twitch, twitch.tv/DJTICKLE. Join the Discord below. Hit the subscribe button for more Division content. I put videos out really, really frequently. Give me a thumbs up, give me a thumbs down, hit the bell for notifications, or comment down below and let me know what you think. And I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.